TG Geeks episode 405, November 21st, 2022, and on the road again. Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the two gay geeks, talk about all aspects of Geek-dom and Nerd-ery. Sci-fi, comics, film, horror, genre, you name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane, and we're coming to you from TG Squared Studios in lovely Phoenix, Arizona, where we actually turned the heater on this week.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because it's been unseasonably cool.
Yeah. And I'm Ben Ragginson, coming to you from Disneyland, because that's where we're at the moment you're listening to this episode.
Yes, actually, we'll actually be in California Adventure or having breakfast.
We'll be having breakfast at Storytellers.
Yeah, or somewhere.
Anyway, like that,
let's get on with it.
Prepare for hyperdrive.
Meanwhile, in the Hall of Episodes, the two gay geeks are discussing this.
Well, we're going to chat about a couple of things that we have on the list. Our birthday shout-outs, our podcast of the week, some feedback, and regular shout-outs in the second segment. I don't know if we might have something there.
Maybe.
You never know.
We'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see. And then we will have our wacky weekly recap and our shout-outs, regular shout-outs at the end of the show. So Let's just get right to it.
Okay, that really played with my head.
You thought it was
what?
Birthday time.
Birthday music? What?
It's the former birthday music that I
you
use.
got new music for birthdays now?
No.
The old
it's the
birthday
old birthday. Well, we also have the other old birthday music.
Oh, God.
That was...
Oh, no. We can't play that. They're good. YouTube's going to have a cow.
That's not that one. We've got that one. I've got the...
that's not... Let's go out to the lobby?
No.
No. Sounds like it.
Anyway, all right. So here we are.
Coming up, it's...
Start of the holiday season.
Yeah. Turkey Day is coming up this week, and then we're full-blown into Christmas.
Yep. So
what does that mean?
What does that mean? It means we have a lot... I was trying to
be nice about it.
Be nice about it and not say something off color, or
a plethora
of Christmas movies or Christmas related
holiday
films. Yes, and
it's getting to the point now where it's like getting impossible to say. I mean, because we can't watch them all.
No,
because we have too
many.
many.
We have way too many things to watch.
I mean, if we went to watch all of our holiday movies by the end of the year, we would
besides going crazy.
Well, yes, I'm going completely mental. We would have to start right after Labor Day.
Exactly, and we're not doing that.
No.
So, we did actually start this week and the weekend, and then this week we watched a couple of movies that are kind of some of our favorites. We watched Scrooged, of course.
It's always a favorite.
Yeah, and I made a reference to that in...
I saw that.
in an article that we're running on Tuesday.
For A Violent Night.
Yes, Violent Night. That's coming out on December 3rd, I think. I cannot wait for that
one. I'm so excited for that one.
It looks really great.
It looks just deranged.
But Scrooged is always a favorite. I mean, there's so many wonderful things, and every single time at the very end of the film, when
I get caught up.
When the kid speaks, I
totally get caught up in that.
I still get verklempt, and it just hits me.
It's a beautiful moment.
Because it is a beautiful moment, and it's a good... Well, part of it is the lead up to, with Bill Murray's
his come to Jesus moment, if you will.
Exactly, and his emotion that he powers into that. So it's one of those films that we always watch at Christmas. And another one is Arthur Christmas.
Yeah,
Now,
this
one.
This movie continues to
Wow,
baffle us,
I know.
and I mean all that in a good way, because we first learned about it. We were shopping in a Costco, and there it was in their TV display.
Yeah, and they were showing
they,
something.
Well, they had just the main menu was up there, and they were running like 30 seconds of it, and then it would just loop.
Yeah,
and we were staring at it like, what is
what
this?
is Arthur Christmas?
What the
heck is
we
Arthur
had no idea
Christmas?
what it was, and then we saw there was another TV that had just the main menu for it, and we figured, oh, well, that's got to be it. And I guess you found it.
Yeah,
You looked it up somewhere, and then I bought it.
yeah, and it really, it's a great film. I don't know how we missed it in the theaters. It
got no push.
It's a Sony animation film, and it virtually the entire cast is all British. So
Pretty much, yeah.
that may have been part of the
I don't think so.
part of it. That
I
it
don't think
had
so.
a bigger push in UK than it did
Well,
here.
maybe,
I don't know.
but the fault lies with their marketing department, because it still did not get a healthy push here. We did not hear about this movie.
And then now everybody knows about it.
Yeah, everybody knows about it, and it's a good thing too.
Wonderful film. I love the film.
I love this movie. It's
just
so beautiful.
and it's so touching, and it really, it's kind of one of those, it's about family, it's about Christmas, and about the Christmas miracle, shall we say, and the how kids make Christmas out to be this big thing, which it is for kids. If you,
It's about the magic.
yeah, about the magic of Christmas.
And that is the message, or one of the several messages about the importance of keeping that magic alive for children.
And letting the magic happen. That's the same thing in Scrooged.
Yeah, Scrooged has that too.
It's it's
a different kind of magic, but
it's
same
the
thing.
Christmas magic and your Christmas miracle and what the holiday season can do. And as Bill Murray says in Scrooged, don't let it just be at Christmas time. Have that Christmas miracle every day.
Every single day.
Yeah. Be kind to people. Do something good for people.
And if you look at a lot of the Christmas movies that are out there, especially the ones that we like to watch every year, that seems to be the recurring theme. I'm thinking of the Santa Claus, especially the Santa Claus 2. Mm-hmm. There is and it's probably my favorite scene.
Oh,
and it's the Secret Santa bit.
Yeah,
at the school faculty party, and to watch all these teachers and faculty kind of resort, their inner child just all comes out. And it's and I'm geeking out because I'm seeing all these wonderful toys that I knew when I was growing up. Toss across,
Rock'em Sock'em
Robots.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, the games that they had going on there. The Easy Bake Oven was there.
Oh my Lord!
But I'm looking at, I'm watching all these adults just totally revert to a childlike state, where the Christmas magic is at its most powerful, and it's such a beautiful thing, and that's kind of the message that we see a lot. And I'm going to make mention of something that we did watch that has that miracle that is not on this list, and that is an opera, Amal and the Night Visitors.
Oh yeah, I forgot we watched that too. I forgot to put that on the list. Amal and the Night Visitors. I'm telling you, is it's a little dated, but only because the only versions that are available. There's 3 versions available, and I chose to purchase the 1951. Original telecast of the film, and it's a little dated. The sound is not as good. There's 2 other ones. There's another one that was made in 1969 and one that was in 1978 with Teresa Stratus.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, but Amal and the Night Visitors was written by Giancarlo Menotti, and he was the partner of Barber.
Oh, Samuel Barber?
Samuel Barber. There we go. What the heck is his name? And he wrote this film, and he wrote the libretto as well, and it is about him growing up in Italy. While they didn't celebrate and have Santa Claus, they had the Three Kings, and that whole thing about the Three Kings, and they were on their way to find the child, and they were following the star, and they stopped in this place, and meet this young man and his mother, who are destitute, and
Amal
is
he's
crippled.
a cripple.
Yeah. So it really is, and it's in English. There's some absolutely glorious music in it.
Beautiful,
it's just
beautiful music. It's very melodic.
Very melodic, and it's one of those that I love to watch. I remember seeing it as a child, thinking, oh my gosh, they're doing this live. And then when I grew up, I realized, they're recycling the original broadcast from 1951. But,
No, well, okay, well, now we're going back to that whole magic thing.
Yeah.
Again, the magic.
It's the magic.
Well, not just that, but it was a moment that you had thinking, they're doing it live.
Right.
And that gave it special significance to you.
Exactly. And I won't, I want to kind of back up a little bit, and I won't say that it's the magic of Christmas. It's the magic of the holiday season.
Yeah.
Because during this time, there are so many different holidays. There's, Hanukkah, and there's Kwanzaa, which is a relatively new holiday for the people of color and for the African community. And there's all kinds of other holidays that are happening in the December time period, and they all surround the winter solstice. And it's always a magic time because it is the darkest time of the year. And
in the northern hemisphere, yes.
Yeah, well, in the northern hemisphere, yes. It's the darkest time of the year. It's cold. You need some cheer, and that's where a lot of the traditions came into being. And it's the magic of the holiday season of doing good, sharing what you have, and just being a genuinely good person. So it's a wonderful season.
Yeah. It is, and I
won't pretend that my childhood was all hunky dory.
No,
but,
and I'm sure there are a lot of people.
I've learned to embrace that, and anybody that has known me for years and years and years knows that I didn't always relish Christmas coming around. It was always a madness time of the year.
I would say that there's a good number of people out there that share that sentiment.
Yep.
So you're not alone in that. But
I've learned to embrace the new.
Yeah, we found a way to sort of take ownership of that.
And share our own. We have our own traditions that we do, so that's what it's all about.
And one of them is, of course, as we're saying, watching these films. And I want to go back to the list because there's one we have not mentioned here, which I absolutely adore, Prep and Landing.
Oh my gosh, the two Prep and Landing, and then there's a short Prep and Landing.
A very short one.
Yeah, both of those, they're all three Pixar. The short and the two films are Pixar films, and they are just delightful. I mean, Lanny and Wayne, the Christmas elves.
Well, there's also the supporting cast.
Prep's the landing guy.
But the supporting cast too.
Yes.
I mean, there's that one. She's like a head of HR. Whatever.
Who knows?
I don't know what her role is.
Director of something.
Yeah.
Director of Christmas, I guess. Yes.
But she's
McGee.
She's a hoot.
Oh, she is. And then there's Tiny,
you
only
see the hat.
You only see his hat.
Yeah.
And then in the second one, there's Mr. Thistleton and his Segway that he rides around.
Yeah, and his technology.
Yeah.
But it's a wonderful, both shorts, actually, I'm going to go for all three. All three have got some wonderful stuff in there.
Yeah.
And
they're about... the spirit.
Yeah.
They're about family. They're about the miracles and, the miracles that children perceive as Christmas miracles, So it's really kind of neat to see those three, the two movies and then the little short. And it's so delightful.
Yeah, it's
really
obviously the fact that we watch it regularly, or at least every holiday season, kind of is an indication that those are shorts that are for the whole family.
Absolutely. And there's lots of puns and jokes and, that is typical Pixar stuff,
Yeah, it has layers. Some of it is
Exactly.
almost subversive.
Frostbite.
Yeah. Yeah, it's typical Pixar multi-layered humor.
Yep.
So that the kids can laugh at the slapstick and the adults kind of they chuckle and give a wink at each other like, yeah, we know what they're really saying.
Exactly. So we want to talk about what we're doing as you're listening to this episode. We are at Disneyland and California Adventure, and we haven't been in a while.
No.
So, or at least not for any length of time. We're actually going to be there for 3 or 4 days.
3 or 4 days.
And that's the longest we've been to Disneyland
in some time.
in quite some time. Normally we would, we're just kind of a day tripper over there.
Yeah, and because, this is a conversation that we've had a lot, because we used to go over so many times when we had annual passes. I mean, it was a common thing for us on a Friday night to say, you know what, I feel like going. Okay, let's go. Boom. Find a quick hotel in like Ontario.
Yep.
Drive in on Saturday, drive home Sunday, or drive home Saturday night, and that's it.
Yeah. And in fact, there was one trip that we did that, and we walked in the park. We rode the train around 3 or 4 times, and we left and went home. It was just about being in the park.
I remember.
I think we may have walked down Main Street a little bit. But
I have one very fond memory. We had gone to Disneyland, and we had a much older Subaru.
Oh,
and on the way back, I think we were, I don't know where we were at.
We were just on this side of Ontario.
Yeah, and it broke down.
Yep.
The radiator kind of had a crack in it.
Well, the top seal.
Yeah, top seal broke. So had it towed to a Subaru shop. They got it fixed. Blah blah blah, and then blessed be Lisa Pratt, friend of ours. She works for Southwest Airlines. Because she works for Southwest, she gets 2 one-way passes to fly every month. So or round trip. So she gave them to us so that we could fly to Ontario and pick up the car. And I remember after we got there really early, and then we were leaving, and I think one of us said, why don't we just go? And we just decided to drive up to Disneyland.
Yep.
And had a delightful time.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. So yeah, we're going back. I'm really looking forward to it. I know that it's going to be just besieged with people, but that's not what it's about.
It's really, we've talked about it, and we've decided that we will not be disappointed if we don't get to ride anything. The main thing is, we're always going to get to ride the train.
Yeah.
There's always going to be that. And that for me is as enjoyable as some of the rides. It's just being there, seeing the people, seeing the smiles on the faces, seeing people enjoying themselves, and seeing the park.
And the train is a great way to do that.
Yep.
One of the things that I love about it is this: it's a very relaxing ride, obviously. And as you make this circle tour around the park, you get all these glimpses of how beautiful the park is, how beautifully decorated it is at this time, but in a controlled
Limited,
but in a rather controlled setting, and I love that.
Yeah,
and to be able to be in the park, to see the decorations, especially up and down Main Street.
Oh yeah,
which I adore, and to hear that
Main
Christmas
Street
music.
Oh my gosh, we're going to sit in the hub and just listen to the Main Street
music
loop
over and over and over again.
Over and over again.
Yeah.
Now, a couple of things that we usually always do. We try to go on Pirates. We try to go on Small World. We try to go on Haunted Mansion. But
And we're going to try that.
If
We'll
if
give it
we
a
do,
shot.
we do.
If we don't,
we don't.
I mean, I've
One
already
thing
said
you want to go on
I
Rise of the
definitely want to
Resistance.
do Rise of
we may
yeah,
just
Rise of the
park
Resistance
ourselves in front of it.
if that takes an hour and a half to do it, then okay, fine. I'm in there. I'm in line for an hour and a half. I don't care.
Exactly.
But that's my mission for this trip. After that, everything else is like gravy. I don't care.
Yep.
It's as you said. It's just about being in the park and we've got friends who work there, and boy, I can't wait to see them and for them to see us because it's been forever.
It's been forever. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to some good food because we're definitely got at least one good dinner coming up while we're there.
Exactly.
And like I said, to meet friends that we're gonna connect with while we're there. Yeah, I'm really very much looking forward to this, and I think you're right to go into the park and to do it with this mindset. It's going to be what it's going to be.
Exactly.
And let's just whatever.
Just take it as it comes.
Yeah. I think is a really healthy approach to not letting the madness. Oh, and we're doing a tour.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We decided we would fork over the money to do it. It's changed. It used to be called Walk in Walt's Footsteps. And that tour used to get you into Walt's apartment above the fire station on Main Street, or there at City Hall, and
which we never did.
Yeah,
I mean we've done the tour twice, and we've never, and it was not included at the time.
And we've done several other things that were supposed to include that, but it was you went down Main Street, and then you went all the lands, and you did this and that, and it was like 3 hours or so.
Yeah, and if you had
it was like $99.
It was quite reasonable. And I remember the first time we did it, we had the most amazing tour guide. Her name was Van. Yep. I adored her. She knew her stuff.
Exactly.
She was fantastic, and she found a way to really personalize it for all of us and make it feel. I didn't even notice the crowds.
Yeah.
When we did it because we did that on a Saturday, and I had no idea that the park was crowded. It didn't even dawn on me. Yeah. It was that good. So now we've got this one coming up.
This one was $160 a person, and it's like 90 minutes, and they only take you down Main Street.
Yeah.
To the hub. And you get into the apartment.
It's the apartment.
It's the apartment.
To see the apartment.
Yes, from Jeffrey.
Yeah. Sterling.
Yes. And we want to close off this first segment with some shout-outs that we started doing here a couple of weeks ago of independent creators. And I want to give a shout-out to Sci Fi Radio. We always do that at the end of the show, but I want to spend another moment and talk about Sci Fi Radio. They've been around for quite some time. Gene approached us about having our podcast on Sci Fi Radio. Then it was Krypton Radio.
But still, I was thrilled when he came to us and said, I would like to talk to you about it. I'm like,
exactly. And they are a 24-hour internet radio station. So that means that you can tune in and you can listen to all their content 24 hours a day. They do a lot of geeky, nerdy stuff, a lot of filk stuff that they've picked up over the years. And they have several shows, like they have our podcast. They've got a couple of other shows that they do.
They
just
have their introduced,
own podcast.
I think, a live show recently.
Yeah. And so Gene and his wife do a great job of supporting the geeky and nerdy community.
Yeah, the whole idea was, I think there used to be people get together, do gaming and whatever. And, well, what do we listen to while we're doing that?
Exactly.
So it's an idea about having some background music, something playing that kind of, appealed to that geeky nature that everybody has, when they're getting together, whether, whatever geeky endeavor they were involved in. So that's where it all started. And I really applaud Gene for all of that.
Yeah, and Susan, his wife, really does some programming as well, and she writes some of the articles that are on the website, and as well as has a regular job. So they do a great job. They host it right there, in their home practically. Yeah. And it is such a neat thing that they provide that service, and it's not, it's not cheap to do that. So they could use your help if you go to their website. I think they have a Patreon and several other ways to support them. But they also are supported through advertising, which helps a little bit. So check out Sci Fi Radio. It's scifiradio.com. The other independent that we want to give a shout out is to our favorite people at Fairy Godmother Travel.
Yep.
Teresa Cory we have known for years and years and years, and she started Fairy Godmother Travel many years ago and was kind of the person that ran it. And she has since sold her controlling interest in Fairy Godmother Travel to one of her agents. She still does some travel agent stuff. It doesn't cost anything to use a travel agent. Fairy Godmother Travel, Teresa specializes in Disney vacations, the Disney cruise line, Adventures by Disney, and trips to Walt Disney World and to Disneyland. So she is always on the lookout. If you make a reservation and she finds a different deal or something that she thinks that you should be aware of, she will let you know about that. She'll always find the best price for you. She won't talk you into doing anything that you don't want to do.
No.
Well, with the exception of she's hounded us for years
and we
to
buckled.
do concierge on Disney Cruise Line.
We caved.
We finally caved after like 8 years.
Dang
it. Yes, we'll do it. But it was relatively cost effective based on what the regular price for the room that we would the stateroom that we would normally have purchased to go on that cruise.
Yeah, it made sense to do it.
So we have a widget on the side of our website of the pages, Fairy Godmother Travel. It gives her telephone number, and you can also contact her, and she'll set you up with a Disney vacation of your liking. She will even, and there's no obligation for you to even make a reservation. She'll look at things and she'll give you some prices. She'll say, hey, if you do this, if you call her up and say, hey, we're thinking about doing a Disney vacation. Can you tell us what the costs might be, and then she'll put that all together and give you a price, and you don't have to, accept it. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to do anything.
There's no obligation.
Yep. So check out Fairy Godmother Travel and Sci Fi Radio. And I think that's it for our first segment.
Sounds about good to me.
All right.
Hi, this is Barbara.
And Bryant Dillon of Fanbase Press.
And you are listening to the Two Gay Geeks.
Well, here's a few selected birthdays for November 21st through November 27th, 2022. November 21st, Goldie Hawn is one of the most prolific actresses in Hollywood with a career spanning decades. Death Becomes Her, Private Benjamin, Overboard, The First Wives Club, The Banger Sisters, The Sugarland Express are some of her notable films. She won an Oscar in 1969 for Cactus Flower. And she's... excuse me, that snuck up on me. She's been in a long-term relationship with actor Kurt Russell. I mean, for God, 40 years or so, something like that.
I know Goldie Hawn from Laugh-In.
Yeah, actually. True. And then we have Christopher Tolkien, French and English academic editor, the son of legendary author J.R.R. Tolkien. Christopher edited much of his father's works, which was published after his father's demise. And Christopher Tolkien is also credited with drawing the original maps in The Lord of the Rings.
Oh, I didn't know that.
One of his father's highly acclaimed novel series.
I didn't know those maps were drawn by
Yeah.
him. How far out?
November 22nd, Benjamin Britten.
Who are the Britons?
Britons. We're all Britons.
And I'm your king.
And I'm your king. Well, I didn't
vote
for you.
You don't vote for king. See what just happened, people?
Yep.
We can't help it.
We can't help it. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Yes. Don't even say something similar to anything in Holy Grail. We
No,
will go
we
off
will-
on a tangent.
Yeah. Anyway,
Benjamin Britten was an English composer, conductor, and pianist. Considered to be one of the greatest composers of the 20th century. He was a child prodigy, learning to play the piano at the age of 2.
oh my.
And composing his first piece at 5, and grew up to be the central figure of the British classical music of his time. Although he attended the Royal College of Music, it was his private study with composer Frank Bridge that influenced him more. He first came to the public attention at the age of 20 with the a cappella choir work titled A Boy Was Born, and leapt to international fame within a short period with variations on a theme of Frank Bridge. He was a prolific composer, and his large body of works includes opera, other vocal music, orchestral and chamber pieces. Over the years, he received a number of awards and honors. He was also the first musician to receive a life peerage and become Baron Britten. Today, he is most remembered for his works like Peter Grimes and The Young Person's Guide to the Orchestra, and most importantly, The War Requiem. He was also a gay man
Yes.
that was in a relationship with Peter Pears, who was who he wrote most of his operas for.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Lee Curtis. After making her film debut in the horror film Halloween, Jamie Lee Curtis went on to establish herself as a Scream Queen, or the Queen of Scream, appearing in a number of horror films. Curtis is also an author, having released several children's books, including books that have made the New York Times bestseller list. She's also a very well-known philanthropist.
And she's wonderful in comedy.
Yep. November 23rd, Oded Fair. I love this
I
man.
do too.
He is an Israeli actor, best known for playing Ardith Bey in the 1999 film The Mummy. Fair went on to reprise his role in the 2001 sequel The Mummy Returns. His portrayal of Ardith won him or earned him similar roles in films like Resident Evil Apocalypse over the years. He has also established himself as a TV actor in America and
Yes.
Canada. He was actually Admiral. What was Admiral something?
Oh,
shoot.
In Star Trek Discovery.
In Discovery, yeah. Gosh darn it, I can't remember. But he's brilliant in that role.
He's fantastic.
I mean, just brilliant. Then we have Michael Gough, was a British character actor who made more than 150 film and television appearances. He is known for his roles in the Hammer horror films from 1958, with his first role as Sir Arthur Holmwood in Dracula, and for his recurring role as Alfred Pennyworth in all 4 of the Batman films from 89 to 97. He would appear in 3 more Burton films, Sleepy Hollow, voicing Elder Gutnick in Corpse Bride, and the Dodo in Alice in Wonderland. Gough also appeared in popular British television shows, including Doctor Who, as the titular villain in The Celestial Toymaker from 1966, and as Counselor Hedden in The Ark of Infinity in 1983, and in a memorable episode of The Avengers as the automation-based obsessed wheelchair user Dr. Armstrong in The Cybernauts,
Oh, no kidding.
1965.
Oh.
In 1956, he received a British Academy Television Award for Best Actor.
Okay, so, pardon my husband.
I'm
And
having a
He's having a
tough
coughing
time.
fit.
tough time with the dry
Yeah,
weather here.
I guess.
I think because when I turned the heater on. We have good friends' birthdays: Kyle Homewood, Nobilis Reed, and Devette C., who we saw last weekend.
Just last weekend.
Yes. November 24th, Billy Connolly, retired stand-up comedian, actor, and musician, known for his observational and idiosyncratic comedy. Connolly is widely considered one of the most influential and greatest stand-up comedians of all time. He also worked with the British charity Comic Relief and has appeared in a documentary and a live stage show for the charity.
I
was also,
really love this guy.
He was in
Brave.
Brave, yes. It was wonderful.
He was fantastic. And one of my favorite stories, it's not so much about Billy Connolly, it's more about Craig Ferguson, who had a late night talk show, a well-known Scotsman and comedian. And Craig's accent had sort of softened, so he was easily understood on the show. But one time he had Billy on, and Billy's accent has not mellowed in the slightest bit. And within 5 minutes, I could not understand a word that Craig was saying.
Either one of them.
No, it was a battle of the brogue.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have Scott Joplin, known to the world as the King of Rags, was an American composer and pianist. He is credited for upgrading and introducing banjo piano, a plebeian form of entertainment often affiliated to salons and brothels, to elite American art form. Born into a music-loving working-class African-American family, he learned to play the banjo as a child and the piano at the house of his mother's employer around the age of 7. By 11, he caught the attention of a German music teacher who gave him lessons free of cost. Leaving home around the age of 19, Scott Joplin first became a traveling musician, playing in brothels because nobody was willing to provide scope to the black musicians. He spent a large part of his early years in St. Louis and Sedalia. At the age of 27, he managed to publish his first work and wrote over 100 original ragtime pieces during his brief career. His most popular piece is the Maple Leaf Rag. Interest in his works waned after his death in 1917, and he was forgotten until the interest in his music was stimulated in the 70s by use of his music in the Academy Award-winning score to the film The Sting.
Oh, yeah.
It earned him his only award, a posthumous Pulitzer Prize in music.
Ragtime became very much in vogue, and we have Marvin Hamlish to thank for that, but how he was able to revive all of Scott Joplin's music was just wonderful.
And then friend of ours, B. Green, Sarah Marie Rainier, Jason Palmer, and
my sister,
your sister, Noelle Hughes. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
November 25th, Ricardo Montalban and his rich Corinthian leather. Oh, sorry. Yeah, he was not the rich Corinthian leather.
No, but he talked about his rich Corinthian leather.
He was a Mexican actor who achieved immense popularity in Hollywood during his illustrious career that spanned 70 years. He was the recipient of several prestigious awards, including an Emmy Award, a Screen Actors Guild Lifetime Achievement Award. Ricardo Montalban is credited with establishing the Nosotros Foundation, where he served as the first president.
And it would be criminal for us to not mention the Star Trek connection.
Ah, yes. His
Khan!
Yes. Speaking of Star Trek,
Jeffrey Hunter.
He was an American actor and producer who contributed immensely to the film and TV industries in the U.S. He achieved popularity for his lead roles in the 50s. Jeffrey Hunter is best remembered for his performances in films like King of Kings and The Searchers, and to Star Trek fans
as
for
Captain
the
Pike.
Original pilot episode as Captain Pike.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then they used pieces of that in The Cage.
No, and they used pieces of that in the Menagerie.
In the Menagerie, yes. It was The Cage.
The Cage was the original pilot.
The original pilot, sorry. Silly me. And then we have good friend of ours, young man Bailey Hall.
Happy birthday.
21
My
on
goodness.
November 25th. Oh my gosh. November 26th, Robert Goulet was an American actor and singer whose career, which spanned almost 60 years, is embellished with a Tony and Grammy Award. He's best remembered for his performance in the popular Broadway musical Camelot. It's only a model. An actor of French-Canadian origin, Robert Goulet was honored with a star on Canada's Walk of Fame in 2006. He also hosted Bob Goulet's Old-Fashioned Cajun Christmas on only on IBC. You'll love it.
I'm so glad you included that.
Of course I had to. Then we have Mary Edwards Walker, was an American feminist and alleged spy, women's rights activist, an abolitionist, and a prisoner of war. She is the only woman recipient of the Medal of Honor, the highest recognition for bravery in the United States Armed Forces. In an era when womanhood was associated mainly with being a wife and a mother, she married wearing a man's coat and trousers, retained her name, and later got divorced. She often questioned orthodox medical practices, including widespread use of practice of amputation. At a time when sectarian physicians and women were regarded incompetent for Union Army Examining Board, she volunteered and served as a surgeon during the American Civil War. Dr. Mary Walker was mistaken as a spy and captured by Confederate forces and sent to Richmond, Virginia, as a prisoner of war when she tried to attend injured civilians by crossing enemy lines. She was later freed in a prisoner exchange. At the end of the war, she worked actively as an advocate and defendant of the women's suffrage movement through her writings and lectures. She supported refinement of dress for women and also sported men's clothing during lectures on women's rights. I got lost there. November 27th, Jimi Hendrix. What do you say about Jimi Hendrix?
Okay, I'm about to say something that is largely unpopular. I'm not his biggest fan.
Well, I didn't care for a lot of his music.
But he is regarded as probably one of the most innovative guitarists ever.
Yep. Is considered as one of the greatest electric guitarists that the music world has ever witnessed. He composed music combining different genres of hard rock, jazz, and blues into soulful, unforgettable renditions. His style of music has been a source of inspiration for many budding musicians. He started his musical career by forming his first band, the Jimi Hendrix Experience, where he played the guitar and also sang as the lead vocalist. His first single, Hey Joe, took the world by storm. He made headlines after his iconic performance in 1969 in the Woodstock Festival and the Isle of Wight Festival in the 70s. His second album was Axis, Bold as Love, released in 1968, and his final album, Electric Ladyland, was also released in the same year. It featured the hit All Along the Watchtower. Soon after the band split in 1969, his style of music was strongly influenced by blues artists B.B. King, Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Albert King, Elmore James, and rhythm and blues guitarist Curtis Mayfield and Steve Cropper. His music was also inspired by the jazz guitarist Wes Montgomery. He died at the age of 27.
Sadly.
In 1970.
Yeah.
And he was an interesting character.
He was, and he did change the shape of rock music as we understood it.
Yep. Then we have Bruce Lee.
Oh, now, wow.
And if Bruce Lee wasn't the greatest martial artist of all times, then certainly he is the number one candidate. A quote from Joe Louis. And suffices Bruce Lee's contribution as a martial artist to the world. A film actor and instructor of the combat practices, he gained worldwide status in a short span of life and soon became one of the most influential martial artists of all time. Born in an affluent family, Lee gained entry into films long before he realized the same and soon became a famous child actor. Acting and martial arts went hand in hand as he turned to a martial art instructor. However, it was his relocation to Hong Kong and association with films that elevated the popularity of both him as an actor and martial arts as a combat practice. His films created box office records, eventually changing the way martial arts films related to it were looked upon by the world. He is created with the formulation of the Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist, as a new form of martial art, which was quite different from the traditional and rigid forms in matters of practicality, flexibility, speed, and efficiency. A further reading will brief you about his life and profile in detail if you care to explore more about Bruce Lee.
And his final film, his final complete film, Enter the Dragon, is probably my favorite martial art film of all time. Yeah. I just love that movie.
So, and that's it for the birthdays this time.
Technorama, the podcast for geeks, because geeks are better than cool. You don't hear someone say, "Get away from me, you cool person." Who's gonna have their 65-inch home theater system installed by the Cool Squad? Not me, that's for sure. How much cool cred do you have? Not enough to care about. Think you'll find any canned unicorn meat at thinkcool.com? It's just a part domain name. They don't even have roadkill in a paper cup. That's why you need to start listening to Technorama, because that's what geeks do. Go to chuckchat.com and listen to Technorama before you turn cool.
Go give a listen to our friends Chuck and Craig over at Technorama Podcast.
I'm Daniel Radcliffe, and I believe that reaching out for help is the bravest thing a person can do. If you are struggling and need support, call the Trevor Lifeline at 1-866-488-7386. It's free and confidential, and trained counsellors are there to listen 24/7 without judgment. To learn more about the Trevor Project's life-saving work for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning young people, go to thetrevorproject.org.
And it's time for our feedback. These are comments that we received in response to articles and episodes that we ran on our website at tggeeks.com, and the links for each of these will be in the show notes for this episode article number 405 that you can find at tggeeks.com, starting with regarding TG Geeks episode number 398, where we interviewed David Slayton.
Mr. David R. Slayton.
We got a comment from David Slayton. He left us on Twitter saying, "It's always a blast to talk to the guys at TG Geeks, if only to share our mutual love of Katie Edwards."
Yeah.
Well, naturally, Katie had to respond right back at you. I had to respond too, and I said, "Hey, we love you and your work too," which is true. I mean, the entire Adam Binder series is amazing.
Oh my!
It really
yes,
is. It's
it
fantastic stuff, and I highly recommend it.
And then Mason Thomas,
who we interviewed, he also says, "I get to talk with him for the first time this Saturday." And of course, this is several weeks ago. "I'm so excited." And then I got a comment from Katie saying, "Keith and Ben are some of the most incredible podcasters I've worked with. Talking with them is always like a casual conversation with friends. They're so gracious and kind."
Oh, thank
and
you
we
so much.
thank you for that. And we also got a comment from, Jonathan Lapoma. It was his birthday, and he says, "Thanks for the birthday wishes." Moving on. Regarding our Bros Press Junket interview, got a comment from Dane Yoshida, who left us on our YouTube channel saying, "I love how Luke was ready to nerd out about Star Trek." And it's true.
It was
Take a look
great.
at it. I mean, right at the very beginning, Luke wants to talk about my Pride Live Long and Prosper pin that I was wearing. And we close this off regarding Hellraiser reimagined on Hulu October 6th. Got a comment from Hamish Downey saying, "Jamie Clayton looks amazing as Pinhead." And that is our feedback.
If you want to leave a comment, you can do that on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or directly on tggeeks.com on each article. If you want to leave a comment on an episode, you can do that on YouTube, as several people have already done. We also have a listener feedback line. We want to hear from you. You are important, and we want to hear what you have to say. You can call 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. Leave us a message, and remember, please play nice.
For more than 2 decades, Judy and Dennis Shepard have honored their son Matt by working to erase hate around the world. The Matthew Shepard Foundation honors his legacy by inspiring the good work of activists, teachers, artists, and legislators, and everyday LGBTQ+ folks and their allies. Join us today in helping to erase hate. Visit MatthewShepard.org.
Thank you to Comcast NBC Universal for that promo. Well, as usual, we want to give a huge shout out to independent creators because we are supporters of them, whether filmmakers, comic book artists, writers, or others. Please check their stuff out. Check out their websites, their Etsy pages, their Facebook pages, their Twitter, wherever you, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you might find them. Chat them up, chat other people up about their stuff, buy their stuff. Please consider supporting independent creators. If you are trans or are questioning your gender identity, and if you are in crisis or are feeling isolated and need someone to talk to, or you know of someone in a similar situation, there is a special hotline just for you. The hotline is provided by translifeline.org and staffed by trained counselors who are transgender themselves. The hotline in the U.S. is 877-565-8860. In Canada, it is 877-330-6366. Or you can go to translifeline.org to learn about the important work they are doing. Please reach out for help. You are not alone.
Yeah, baby. They're like two gay geeks. They're together, you know. They're two gay guys and they're geeks. Is that okay?
Well, no second segment this time. Running out of time.
And it's time for our weekly review. These are items that we ran on our website this past week at tggeeks.com, and the links for each of these will be in the show notes for this episode article number 405 that you can find at tggeeks.com and will be shared on social media. Starting with Sunday, November 13th, Nerdy Chupacabras number 126. On Monday the 14th, TG Geeks episode number 404. On Tuesday the 15th, Free Puppies, now that's a documentary, arrives December 13th on video on demand and DVD, and there's a trailer in the article. On Wednesday the 16th, Something from Tiffany's official trailer from Prime Video. On Thursday the 17th, Andrea's Angle, She Said, powerful performances. On Friday the 18th, Hamish Downey's 5 Questions with Holly Soriano. And on Saturday the 19th, Violent Night, a look inside. We have some shout-outs that we need to make. First to Brian Weber, our good friend Arkle. He's on Twitter. He's Brian the ampersand list YouTuber, and we mention him because he has his Arkle Times Post-Dispatch News, which does republish some of our content from time to time. So to find the Post-Dispatch News, you need to find him on Twitter, and the best way to do that is to search for Geek of All Trades, and geek is spelled the letter G, the number 3, the number 3, the letter K of all trades. That's all one word. And while you're looking for all things Arkle, go to his YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Arkle Studios to see the plethora of good stuff he's got going on there.
Plethora of projects.
Yes, plethora of projects. We must also give some shout-outs to a couple of Facebook groups for allowing us to post our episodes and relevant articles on their pages. First, Two Gay Geeks After Hours. Big thanks to the moderators for saying that we could share our content there. Their address is facebook.com/groups/Gay Geeks After Hours. And then to The Gay Geek for the same thing. And their address is facebook.com/groups/The Gay Geek. And as always, we give special thanks to their moderator, Jeremiah Reeves.
Thank you, Jeremiah. Other places we can be found are Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Amazon Podcasts, as well as where other fine podcasts can be found. Also, check us out on Sci Fi Radio at 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. Pacific Time on Tuesdays for a replay of this episode. And listen to their other content. They are a 24-hour geeky internet radio station. Please rate us and review us on iTunes. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode. We'll have several links on the page of things we talked about. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com. Or you can leave us a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. From TG Squared Studios, I'm Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. Please live and be your authentic self, no matter what the world tells you. Oh, please be kind to yourself and those around you. Stay safe, wear a mask, get vaccinated. Peace.
Cheers.